Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new, hello, I make college app videos, and today I am going to be analyzing my favorite college essay that I have written. This is a supplemental essay that is around 250 words long that I submitted to Stanford and USC for their supplements. And I did end up getting into both schools, and I ended up going to Stanford, but I am on a gap year right now. So I am so excited to share this essay because it shows a lot of the different things that I talk about in my strategies video. So I have a lot of different videos on essay writing, as I will pop up right here. So these videos break down the strategies of how to write the college essay and really good tips and tricks, do's and don'ts for the college essay. But what I'm going to show you now is those values and those strategies in practice. So this is how these strategies actually work and actually look like. What does show, don't tell look like? What does that even mean? What does it mean to have a metaphor within your essay? What does it mean to take us through a specific story? What does an anecdote mean? I'm going to be talking about all of those things through this specific essay. Oh my god, I got so carried away with essays. I forgot to even say that today's makeup is a yellow and turquoise. I know someone said in the comments a while ago that I should do yellow and blue. So this is my creation. It's not entirely blue. It's more of a blue-green, but I love turquoise. Anyways, if you guys have more makeup colors you think I should do next, comment down below. All right, so before we get started, this is how it's going to work. I am going to read the first paragraph, and then I'm going to analyze the first paragraph. Then I'm going to read the second paragraph, then I'm going to analyze it. So basically it's going to go paragraph by paragraph, and I have things underlined already. I have already gone through and analyzed everything, but I'm going to now explain each part. So let's get to it. Here we go. Whoa, 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 yeah. And that was my Hannah Montana transition music. Here we are. Here we are now on my OneNote application where I'm going to be analyzing this essay. The first thing I want to say is this essay fully belongs to me. Please do not copy it. Please do not take certain words from it. Please do not take the exact same sentence structure that I use in this essay, because this essay is mine and you don't want to be caught for plagiarism. So the prompt for this essay, there were actually two different prompts since I submitted it to Stanford and to USC. For Stanford's prompt, the question was, tell us about something that is meaningful to you and why. So clearly there's a lot of room for interpretation and flexibility and creativity when it comes to this prompt. And then for USC's prompt, it is, what is something about yourself that is essential to understanding you? So yeah, both of these prompts are very open-ended, which is why it gave me a lot of room to talk about what I really wanted to talk about, which was my journal, or the fact that I journal. So now let's hop into the essay. I'm going to read the first paragraph and then talk about it. The day's memories flash through my mind as I lie in bed. The piano plays. Their eyes watch. My voice cracks. My music teacher shakes his head in disappointment. I open my eyes. The streetlight beams through the blinds, casting long shadows across my bedroom. I pull back my covers and hit the lights. Only one solution can clear the thunderstorm raging in my mind. I open a bedside drawer to reveal the archive of my personal thoughts. Okay, whoa, what is going on here? Where are we in this situation? So this is a really clear example of show, don't tell. Instead of me saying, I had a lot of things on my mind when I was trying to go to sleep because I was thinking about this musical theater experience that I had and how it was super embarrassing for me, and it was driving me nuts. I didn't say that. Instead, I literally took you through the actual day's memories. As I say, the day's memories flash through my mind. I also play with the sentence structure a bit. As you can see, the piano plays, their eyes watch, my voice cracks. My music teacher shakes his head in disappointment. These are all noun, verb, noun, verb, noun, verb in the way that I was doing the sentence structure. Also with this, I like to, and I kind of do this in a lot of my essays, is really have the reader discover more and more as they read along. So I don't give everything away right off the bat. Instead, I give a little bit more of information every single time you read another sentence. Oh, I probably should have said this earlier. What is in blue is kind of relating to the structure of my essay. What is in red is relating to the word choice and sentence structure and like more of the like English vocab kind of stuff. And then what is in green or like turquoise is more of the meaning, I guess you could say. It kind of varies throughout, but I'll get into it and describe it obviously as we go along. So in this first paragraph, all the things that are underlined in turquoise actually relate to the context of like where we are, where the reader is currently. So as you can see in the first sentence, the day's memories flash through my mind as I lie in bed. Okay, where are we right now? We're in my bed, that bed. Oh my God, the bed is not made. We are in the bed and thinking about the memories. And then after that, it flashes to the actual memory. So now the reader is transported from my bed to my actual mind and to the experience that happened earlier that day, which is, you know, my voice cracking in front of the whole class. But then right as I say I open my eyes, we are transported back into the room environment, back into my bed, and I say the street light beams through the blinds, casting long shadows across my bedroom. So that just shows that it is nighttime. That contextualizes the time of where and when I am experiencing this story. So then that was the situation. Then usually after the situation that you describe, you always want to go into your feelings and thoughts. And so I said, like, only one solution can clear the thunderstorm raging in my mind. So that is like me acknowledging that something needs to be done, something needs to change. And this is where the turning point happens, which is underlined in red, archive of my personal thoughts. So that is my journal, but that is an example of writing something in a creative way where you kind of disassociate what it actually is, but create a new description or name for the thing you are trying to describe. So I could have said I open a bedside drawer to reveal my journal, but instead I wanted to play with it and I wanted to be more creative with it. So I said an archive of my personal thoughts, because that is really what the journal is for me. Okay, let's go into the next paragraph now. So now that we've hit the turning point, okay, I'm going to open up my journal because clearly I got a lot going on in my brain. What am I gonna do now? Clasped with a letter lock, my journal contains the story of my life over years of entries. I flip it open and begin to write. A tsunami of words burst from my fingertips as I empty every thought and concern from the day onto the pages. As I set my pen down, a wave of calm washes over me. Okay, that paragraph was pretty short, but it says a lot, right? So first of all, underlined in turquoise, it says clasped with the letter lock, my journal contains the story of my life over years of entries. So this really provides more detail and context because I was pretty mysterious with the first paragraph. I didn't really say like what this archive of personal thoughts is, and that's what I'm saying now. So now I'm like, okay, well, this is my journal and this is what it means to me. It contains the story of my life over years of entries. That gives a lot of context. It shows that it is something that I do all the time and that it shows that I've been doing this for years. It's really something that is a part of me and makes up who I am. Okay, and then boxed in red, these are my metaphors that I wrapped it in. I say tsunami of words and wave of calm. So I have several different metaphors going on throughout here, and I kind of like it to connect to the weather or water specifically, with like tsunami and wave and like washes. Also thunderstorm, that also is like water, rain, because I wanted just to wrap this whole experience in a metaphor and like what it means to me. Okay, awesome. Now let's move on to the last paragraph. Journaling increases my self-awareness. It allows me to organize my thoughts and identify issues that have gone unnoticed. Reviewing what I had written, I realized I had burst into laughter during the final notes of my song, prompting my teacher to react negatively. This was actually a reflection of my own insecurity. Instead of regarding the experience as a failure, I accept it as a challenge to work harder. The embarrassment I carried in my mind now lives in the pages of my journal. I slide the book back into its drawer and close my eyes, knowing that the clouds in my mind had cleared. So this whole paragraph is more of the analyzing part, the self-reflection, and the significance part of it. So let's just give a brief overview of what we've covered so far. First, we covered the situation, the conflict. Then we covered the turning point, my thoughts, like, okay, well now I need to do something about this conflict. Then we covered the actions. That was the third thing. The actions are the things that I actually did to, help with this conflict, help get these thoughts out of my mind. And then at the very end, we talk about the outcome and the significance of what I did. So that's where I say journaling increases my self-awareness, it allows me to do this and that. That is showing a lot about what journaling does for me, but then also a lot about my own personal qualities. I think a lot of my values stand out right there. There's boom, self-awareness, and then boom, organized, like I really like organization. And then also underlined in turquoise, I say, instead of regarding the experience as a failure, I accept it as a challenge to work harder. That is another point of me showing my values, which is really right there, is kind of like the growth mindset mentality, which I love. I try to have the growth mindset mentality all the time. And so I wanted to kind of include that in my essay right there, because when I fail at something, I'm not like, oh my God, I'm never gonna do this again, I'm gonna quit because clearly I am bad at it. I don't do that. I say, okay, well, that didn't work. I'm going to try again. I'm going to work harder. I'm going to train. I'm going to get better and finally be able to reach whatever goal I'm trying to reach. Okay, so now I'm gonna talk about what is in blue, what is underlined in blue. So in blue is really the outcome, like what happened because I did this journaling thing. There's the outcome, but there's also the significance. The significance I kind of just went over with what's underlined in turquoise, what it really means to me, but the outcome is the direct result of my actions. So the outcome for me was that it prompted me to realize something about the actual experience that happened earlier, the like me in musical theater class singing in front of the whole class. It made me realize that I had laughed at the end of my song because I kind of gave up. I thought that, this video that I was recording in front of the whole class, singing my song, I thought that it was absolute trash because I was not sounding good. I knew my voice was overworked, and so I just laughed at the end because I was like, this video is useless, it's gonna be trash. And I do remember in that moment, my music teacher, he looked at me with this face of like, oh my gosh, it was just so disappointed. He was so mad at me, and I was really taken aback by that, and I was like, oh my gosh. So I write about that. I write about that here, and I say that it was truly a reflection of my insecurity because I was not comfortable with how I was sounding, how I was doing. So that shows that I had a realization from journaling, that journaling, did something. It made me realize something that I otherwise would not have thought of. So then now, okay, underlined in red, it says the embarrassment I carried in my mind now lives on the pages of my journal. First, we were transported into, the other experience of the actual musical theater class. Now we're transported back into present time where I am writing in my journal. And so I'm saying that now the embarrassment went from my head and into the pages. They are now living in the pages of my journal. And I kind of think of it like this little drawing that I made. So the thoughts from my mind are now in the journal. So they went from one place to the other place. It's not like I am still stuck with all these thoughts. They got to release from my mind, which is really nice. And then when I say slide the book back into its drawer and close my eyes, that ties it all back into the beginning because I'm once again reminding the reader of the context, like, oh, okay, I'm still in bed. I had this drawer, I put it back in the drawer, and I closed my eyes because, it's nighttime, it's time to go to sleep. And then finally at the very end, it says, knowing that the clouds in my mind had cleared. That is another metaphor that I wanted to talk about. So I could literally envision clouds of my mind like disappearing. I kind of think in a visual way if it isn't obvious enough. This gives a clear picture of what journaling does for my mental health and well-being. So what's nice here is that I actually tie back into the beginning. That is something that you guys should really do because it is so satisfying when an essay ties their end back into the beginning. It is so nice. So what I did here is that clouds in my mind had cleared, right? I'm talking about clouds. When else did I talk about clouds? I didn't necessarily say clouds, but if you look into the first paragraph, I say thunderstorm. There's a thunderstorm raging in my mind. Thunderstorms, clouds, lightning, So now those clouds from that thunderstorm have cleared. I have tied that metaphor back into it. Awesome, so now I just kind of want to talk about this essay as a whole in terms of how I structured it as well. I think essays can usually go in multiple kinds of structures. I went over the structure a little bit earlier, like conflict, the problem, the thoughts, the action, the outcome, and the significance, but it can also more generally be organized into past, present, future. So if we look at it that way, the beginning would be the past, because this is what's going on in my mind, this is what happened earlier, it is all in the past, and then the present is the actual actions that I am doing to solve the problem, quote unquote solve the problem, and then the future is in the end, where I now have a clear mind and I know that I'm able to better process the event that happened in a more logical way. I'm able to think better, and that helps me in the future because now I can go about my life not carrying this weight, not having to worry about some little minor inconvenience, some little embarrassing experience. I don't need to hold on to that for so long. I can just let it go. And now I know the steps that I need to take for the next time, and that represents the future. So another more general thing that I want to talk about in terms of the essay as a whole is really this idea of show, don't tell. This is my favorite essay, by the way. I've already said that, but this is my favorite essay because it is told through such a descriptive story, and it really takes you into one very specific experience rather than just saying, I like journaling. Journaling is really meaningful for me. It helps me do this, this, and this. Like, I could just make it all about that, and I do include some sentences that are like that, but what's interesting about this is that I show the reader what that actually looks like. So instead of just saying this is all the stuff that journaling does for me, I show a very specific experience of how that all works. It also takes the reader through an emotional journey. I think a lot of my feelings and personal insights go into this, which is really nice and is also why it's one of my favorite essays that I've written. And one more thing that I want to talk about is that although this essay is about journaling, right? Like, that is the central focus of this essay. The fact that I used a separate experience to write about this one topic allowed me to share another aspect of myself, which is musical theater. I use this essay as a way to tie in my other interests as shown, in my activities section and in also some of the other little tiny supplemental questions, but I really want to show them an actual glimpse of what it looks like in my musical theater class. It's really kind of like a Glee club, in Glee, the show, people get up and then they sing for the whole class. It was very similar to that kind of thing, and I had a lot of confidence issues with that throughout my entire 4 years of high school, and so I wanted to really write about that and showcase that part of myself to the admissions officers. All right, so that was my essay. That was my journaling essay that got me into Stanford and USC. Clearly, the values shown here are self-reflection, mindfulness, focus, organization. I'm really glad that in this one I broke down the concrete structure because I am working on creating my own structure for college essays that will work for just about any college essay. And I'm creating a digital interactive guide / workbook for this, and you will be able to find it in the link in the description once it is launched, and I'm super excited for it to launch, so please look out for that. And then also make sure to subscribe and follow me on Instagram at I'm Dylan to keep up with what I'm doing and the new things that I'm coming out with, because I constantly want to make new resources and materials to learn about the college application process and to learn how to write college essays that will be successful and help you get into the schools of your choice. So that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. See you all later.